So for problems under single entry class, the most common question would always be how much would be your net income. And that would be the question class, because if you use the single entry system, you will have a very difficult time of monitoring your revenues and expenses. And ultimately, you will have a hard time monitoring your net income. And again, that's the reason why the most common question for single entry problems would be your net income. So here, at the beginning of the current year, the statement of financial position of the company showed total assets of 5 million, total liabilities of 2 million, and contributed capital of 2 million. During the current year, the entity issued share capital of 500 par value at a premium of 300,000. Dividend of 250 was paid at year end. The statement of financial position at year end showed total assets of 7,500,000 and total liabilities of 3,200,000. Okay. So with the last sentence class, you're given with the ending balances of your assets and liabilities. And that should give you, with those two information, you should be able to get your ending equity. Because you're expected to know already the accounting equation, which tells us that assets are equal to your liabilities and equity. So if your assets are equal to 7,500,000 and your liabilities is 3,200,000, that would mean that your equity is 4,300,000. And you try to determine the amount of net income based on the changes on your ending and beginning equity. Is there a way for us to determine our ending equity? The answer is yes. From the first paragraph, what does it tell us? The beginning balance of your total assets is 5 million, and then your total liabilities is 2 million. So that would mean our equity at the start of the year was 3 million. But why was the contributed capital only 2 million? Because your equity is not just composed of your contributed capital, it's not just composed of your share capital. Aside from your contributed capital, you will also have your retained earnings. So from the first paragraph, what are we supposed to figure out from this information? That our beginning retained earnings was 1 million. Okay? And then, during the current year, the entity issued share capital of 500,000 par value at a premium of 300,000. Okay, what will be the effect of issuance of shares? Will it increase or decrease your share capital? Will it increase or decrease equity? Issuance of shares, increase. Okay, specifically what portions of your equity will increase? Definitely the par value and the share premium if it is issued above par. And was the issuance here above par? Yes, there's a premium of 300,000. But no need to distinguish class. Par value and the excess over par will still be considered part of your contributed capital. So we will expect our contributed capital, our share capital, to increase by 800,000. So from 2 million, it increased by 800,000. So by the end of the year, it is 2,800,000. So that means out of our total ending equity, contributed capital represents 2,800,000. How much was our ending equity as determined earlier? 4,800,000. And then we know that out of the 4,800,000, 2,800,000 pertains to our contributed capital. So what does that tell us? Our retained earnings ending would be how much? 4,800,000. Sorry, was it 48 or 43? 4,300,000 minus 2,800,000. How much would that give us? 1,500,000. That, what does that amount represent? The 1,500,000 will represent your ending retained earnings. How much was our retained earnings at the start of the year? It was 1 million. And what happened? It increased by 500,000. So does that mean our net income is 500,000? No, because there is another source of change in our retained earnings, not just our net income. There was also declaration of dividends in the amount of 250. Okay, so for your beginning balance to be 2 million and for you to have a deduction of 250, how much then should be your net income so that your ending balance would be 1,500,000? So basically it's 1,500,000 minus 1 million plus 250, that will give you 750,000. So the answer here is Charlie. Because you'll be very blessed if this kind of question comes out in your in your part exam. Okay, you should be able to take care of this kind of problem. 15-2. What was the net income for the current year? There were no other changes in shares issued and outstanding during the year. During the current year, the entity declared and paid cash dividend of 1 million and also declared and issued a share dividend. Okay, so what happened? Question is net income. Focus on retained earnings. What happened to your retained earnings? Increased or decreased? Increased by 1 million. But why is our answer not letter C, 1 million? Because there are other sources of changes in your retained earnings. Okay, so what else could have affected our retained earnings? That would be your declaration of dividends. How much cash dividend was paid? 1 million. Okay, so what's the effect of that? What's the effect of that 1 million? It should decrease your retained earnings. So even though it increased to 4,500,000 class, there's actually a decrease of 1 million due to cash dividends. Okay, so you can deduct the 1 million from 3,500,000 class for you to get an updated balance of your retained earnings before net income, of course. Okay, so that will give you 2,500,000, and then I think the biggest challenge in this problem class is whether or not you know how to treat stock or share dividends class. What is the effect of declaration of stock or share dividends? Does that affect retained earnings? The answer is yes. So some of you might think that it will not affect retained earnings because there is no outflow of cash. But again, this is a dividend. What happens in a stock dividend class? You are distributing the earnings of the company to the shareholders, but through the issuance of your own shares. So what happens here? Retained earnings is transferred to share capital. What will be your entry if there's declaration of cash dividend? Entry would be debit. What's the entry? Declaration of cash dividends. What account is affected when you declare dividends? Retained earnings. So you will debit retained earnings. And what will be the credit? Since we are still at the declaration, your credit would be cash dividends distributable or cash dividends payable. Once you have actually paid the cash dividends, what will be your entry? Debit, you remove the liability. Debit, cash dividends, distributable, and credit. What will be the credit once you pay for the cash dividends? Credit is obviously cash. So declaration, debit, retained earnings. Every time you declare dividends, you will have to debit retained earnings. So debit retained earnings and credit cash dividends distributable. And upon payment, the entry will be debit cash dividends payable and credit cash. But for your analysis class, you can just immediately charge cash and retained earnings. Okay, what if it's not a cash dividend but stock dividend? What will be your entry? Debit will still be retained earnings. And instead of a liability, your credit would be to your share capital. Okay, if it's a small stock dividend, then the measurement would be at small stock dividend. How do you measure retained how much would be charged retained earnings for small stock dividends class? Is it the par value or the fair value? For small stock dividends, it would be the fair value, so long as the fair value is not lower than the par value. That's very important that this has nothing to do with single entry. This is just a matter of testing your knowledge on uh, dividends class. Okay, please do not forget small and large stock dividends. What would be your debit if there will be stock dividends? Retained earnings. What would be your debit? It will be share capital and or share premium. When is it and share premium? If it is a large stock dividend. Uh, when is it only share capital? If it is a large stock dividend, share capital only. Small stock dividend, share capital plus share premium. Because what's the rule? Small stock dividends are measured at fair value, while large stock dividends are measured at par value. But do not forget the uh, condition for small stock dividends. The fair value should not be lesser than the par value. In the event the fair value is lesser than the par value, then the dividend will be measured at par value. You will never issue shares below par value. So again, what's the rule for small stock dividends? Use the fair value. Exemption if the fair value is lower than the par value. In that case, what will you use? You will no longer use the fair value, but instead you will use par value because shares should not be issued below par value. What do we call shares that are issued below par value? Starts with the letter W. Watered stocks or watered shares. And they are prohibited. Cannot issue shares below par value. Okay? So, if you only stopped at the 1 million cash dividend class, your likely answer would have been 2 million, which is also among the choices. But you know that stock dividends affect retained earnings. You know that when stock dividends are declared, there will be a charge to your retained earnings equal to the par value, the fair value of the share. Okay, so the question now, class, is how much is your stock dividend? Where will you find the amount of stock dividends? Normally, how will you solve for the amount of stock dividends, class? Number of shares issued times the par value or the fair value. But in this case, that information is not given. How then are you going to know how much was the stock dividend? You look at the changes in your share capital and share premium. What happened to your share capital? It increased by 750. And then what happened to your share premium? It increased by 500. So there's a total increase of 1,250,000. Why do we know that that increase came from your stock dividends class? Because the problem told us that there were no other changes in shares issued and outstanding during the year. So the only cost for the change in your share capital and share premium is the issuance of the share dividend. So we then know that the stock dividend was in the amount of 1,250,000. So what does that mean? As a result of the declaration of the stock dividend, the retained earnings was also decreased by 1,250,000. So total decreases then to your retained earnings was 2,250,000. 1 million cash dividend, 1,250,000 stock dividend. So how much is that, class, if deducted from 3.5? 2,250 minus 3.5, that will give you 1,250,000. So how then are you going to bring 1,250,000 to 4,500,000? How much then is the needed increase to bring up the balance of the retained earnings from 1,250,000 to 4,500,000? By how much should retained earnings increase during the year from 1,250,000 to 4,500,000? That is 3,250,000. And what will account for that increase in your retained earnings? That will represent your net income. And that's why the answer here is letter A. Supplemental question just to test your knowledge on other topics, class. How many shares were issued as stock dividends, class? How many shares were issued as stock dividends? So let's give 2 points again to the first one to shout out the answer. How many shares were issued as stock dividends? We're still in problem 15-. Because if you got it, class, and you refuse to say the answer, you have an opportunity cost. If you say the wrong answer, you gain nothing, but you also lose nothing. You have to show confidence in yourselves. Just try, class. If one gives an answer, then I'll say higher or lower. How much? Lower. Ako sa i-compute na lang. I get where you got 50,000. That's wrong. Lower. Lower than 10,000. Higher than 5,000. Who said 7,500? It's 7,500. What's your name? Okay, so the 50,000 was solved by your classmate class by dividing the 5 million by the par value of 100. That's your outstanding shares or issued shares as of January 1. But what was the question? How many shares were issued as stock dividends? So you just look at the increase during the year. How much was the increase during the year? It was 750,000. Okay, but does that mean you issued 750,000 shares? No, because the 750,000 represents what? The value of those shares. But what were we looking for? The number of shares. And how much then are we going to divide the 750,000 increase? You divide it by the par value. Because in your share capital account, the amount that enters there is always the par value. So 750,000 divided by the par value of 100, that will give you 7,500. Next question. How much then was the fair value of the shares? How much then was the fair value of the shares? Fair value. It's not a round number. It's not a round number. It's 166.67. How did you get that one? How much was the total value of the stock dividends? It was 1,250,000. Representing how many shares? Representing how many shares? 1,250,000 divided by 7,500 will give you 166.67. Okay, so that would be the fair value of the shares. Okay, let's proceed to the next problem. Question here is, what amount should be reported as retained earnings on January 1, 2023? So we are asked to work back because the information given is for December 31, 2023. Okay, and then the share capital of 3 million remain unchanged during the year. The transactions which affected the equity were an adjustment of retained earnings for 2022 over depreciation. Net income for the current year, definitely this is relevant. Dividends declared, of which 400 was paid. Because if we are focusing on retained earnings, does the fact of payment relevant? The answer is no. The important reckoning point here is the declaration of your dividends. So if we try to work back, class, the ending is 5 million. Then there was net income of 800,000. So what did we do with the 800,000? We have previously added it to arrive at 5 million. So to arrive at the January 1 balance, deduct the 800. Sorry, the 5 million here is the total shareholders' equity already, and then the share capital remains 3 million. So our retained earnings at the end of the year is 2 million. So 2 million minus 800, because the 2 million already includes the 800, and we're looking for the previous or the beginning balance. So we remove the 800,000. And then deduct the, the 600,000 was deducted to arrive at 2 million. So in looking for the January 1 balance, we are going to add back the 600. So minus 800 plus 600, where are we now? 1,800,000. And then an adjustment of retained earnings for 2022 for over depreciation. What's the effect of over depreciation, class? Over depreciation, that means your expenses are overstated. And if your expenses are overstated, what does that mean? Your income is understated. If your income is understated, what is its effect on your retained earnings? Your retained earnings was also understated. So if you corrected that during the year, what did you do? Since it was understated, to correct an understatement, you have to make an addition. So that means during the year, you added the 100,000 to arrive at the 2 million. But since we are looking for the January 1 balance before the additional 100,000, what do we do in solving this problem? We will deduct the 100,000. And then the gain on the sale of the treasury shares, what's the effect of a gain? It will increase retained earnings. Okay, so as a result, retained earnings was increased. But again, we are looking for the January 1 balance. What do we do? Deduct the 300,000. So minus 800 plus 600 minus 300 minus 100 will give us 1,400,000. 15-4. What was the net income for the current year? There were no changes in retained earnings other than for a dividend payment of 1,300,000. Okay. Vela reported the following increases in account balances during the current year. Okay. If your assets increase by 8,900 class, the combined change in your liabilities and equity should also be 8,900,000. Okay, so assets changed by 8,900,000, but based on the other amounts given, what is the total change class for your liabilities, share capital, and share premium? This is 2,700,000, and then share capital is 6 million, and then share premium is 6,600,000. So this will give you 9,300,000. Because if the change in your assets is only 8,900,000 and your liabilities and share capital and share premium increased by 9,300,000, how can we make sense of the accounting equation? What will balance everything out? This would mean that your retained earnings should have decreased by how much, class? To balance both sides of the accounting equation. Increase in assets of 8,900,000. There is a partial increase of 9,300,000. So to balance out everything, there should be a decrease on this side in the amount of 400,000. And where will we attribute the decrease of 400,000? That will be the decrease in your retained earnings. So if you will be asked how much is the decrease in the retained earnings, your answer would be 400,000. Okay. Now, the problem tells us that there were dividend payments in the amount of 1,300,000. Effect of dividends to your retained earnings, increase or decrease? Effect of dividends to your retained earnings, increase or decrease? Decrease. So how much then should our retained earnings have decreased? It should have decreased by 1,300,000. But how much did it actually decrease? Only 400. So what would be a possible explanation for that one? Even though we have dividends of 1,300,000, retained earnings only decreased by 400 because we had profit or income in the amount of 900,000. Okay, so that the net effect, the net change in your retained earnings to be 400? For the net change in your retained earnings to be 400, and knowing that there is a decrease due to dividends in the amount of 1,300,000, the other possible explanation would be that we had an income in the amount of 900,000. Okay, and that is already the answer in this problem. Next question is, what was the net income or loss for the current year? Easy Company reported at the beginning and ending total liabilities were 840 and 1 million. Imagine these are the questions that comes out. Ingananing manggawas class. At year end, owner's equity was 2,600,000 and total assets were 200 larger than at the beginning of the current year. Do we have to use algebra in this problem or no? During the current year, the new share capital issued exceeded dividends by 240. What was the net income? Okay, let's try to plot everything. Let's start with the beginning. As far as the beginning balance is concerned, what do we know, man? The beginning liabilities is how much, class? 840. Okay, you write that down somewhere. And then what else? What other beginning balance do we have? None. Let's proceed to ending balances. Ending balance of liability is 1 million. And then ending balance of equity is 2,600,000. So do we know the ending balance of our assets? Yes, because if you have your liabilities and equity, you will already have your assets. So that means our ending balances for our accounting equation, the components of our accounting equation are available. So if liabilities was 1 million and then equity is 2,600,000, that means our total assets at the end of the year is 3,600,000. And with that, we can already work back our beginning total assets, because what does the problem tell us? Total assets were 200 larger than at the beginning of the year. But we already know that at the end of the year, it's actually 3,600,000. How much then is the beginning? 3,800,000 or 3,400,000? Which one is bigger? The ending or the beginning, class? At year end, total assets were 200,000 larger than the beginning. So which one is larger? Ending. So if our ending is 3,600,000, that means our beginning is 3,400,000. Basically, your reading comprehension is tested here. So if beginning assets is 3,400,000 and liabilities beginning is 840, what does that tell us about our equity, class? 840 deducted from 3,400,000. How much is that? 2,560? 2,560,000. And what does that amount represent? That represents our beginning equity. So how much is our beginning equity? 2,560. How much is our ending equity? 2,600,000. So what happened to our equity? Increase or decrease? Increased by 40. And what does the problem tell us? That the new share capital issued exceeded dividends by 240. Okay, so our goal here, class, is to come up with the amount wherein the total change in your retained earnings is 40,000. Okay, and then let's try to determine the other sources of our changes. Do we have issuance of share capital? The answer is yes. Okay, but we do not know how much is the amount. We just know that which one is greater, the new share capital issued or the dividends? Bigger C, new share capital. Okay, so let's say your new share capital is 240 and assume that dividends is 0. If we do that, does that comply with the information given in the problem? Yes. Okay, so if additional capital is 240 and then dividends is 0, what then would be the net income or loss, so that the net change in our total equity would be 40,000? On one side of the equation, you have 40. On the other side, you have 240 and 0 and blank. What should be that blank so that the net change would be increase? Was it increase? Increase of 40,000. It should be a loss of 200,000. So that would be your balancing figure. So basically 40,000 is equal to 240,000 minus 0, then plus minus 200. Minus 200 because we need a loss to have a net change of positive 40. Just to clarify something, where did we get the 0? That's just a presumed assumed number. Okay, can we use a number other than 0? Yes, so long as the difference between that amount and the increase in your capital would be 240. So let's say, for example, you want your dividends to be 100. Okay, can you use 100? Yes, but what will you use in our equation for your increase in capital? Then it would be 340. Because what is important is that the difference between the two would be 240. Regardless of what you will assume as your dividends class, the answer will be the same. 15-6. What amount should be reported as shareholders' equity at the end of the current year? Sunshine Company had total assets of 4 million and shareholders' equity of 2 million at the beginning of the current year. During the current year, assets increased by 500 and liabilities decreased by 800. What amount should be reported as shareholders' equity at the end of the year? So basically, okay, do we have our beginning equity class? Yes. Okay, we already have the change in assets. How much is the change in assets? 500. Change in liabilities, decrease of 800. How much then should be the change in your equity so that the accounting equation would still make sense? Assets increased by 500, liabilities decreased by 800. So what does this mean? Our equity increased by 300 only, not 300 plus. Okay, we have positive 500 on one side of the equation, and then the other side class we have negative 800. How do we balance both sides of the equation? You need a positive 1,300,000. Okay, because I hope I don't have to expound on this more class. So that this would tell us that the change in your equity is an increase of 1,300,000. Okay, just imagine your liabilities decreased by 800, but still your assets increased by 500. So the only explanation there is that your equity must have increased by a larger amount, specifically 1,300,000. And we already know that the beginning shareholders' equity was 2 million. So 2 million plus 1,300,000, you would get 3,300,000. Next, Trend Company provided the following information for the current year. Question is, what amount of retained earnings was reported at the beginning of the current year? If you're given with the beginning of the current year, if you're asked for the beginning of the current year, always try to look for the end class. Are you given with your ending retained earnings? The answer is no. But is there a way for us to figure this out? The answer is yes. Total assets on December 31 is 3 million. Okay, and then what does that mean? That the sum of your liabilities and equity then must also be 3 million. Okay, and with that class, what other information would be useful? It would be your debt to equity ratio. We are told that your debt to equity ratio is 50%. And how do you get your debt to equity ratio? Debt over equity or liabilities over equity. So if if the sum of your liabilities and equity is 3 million and the quotient of your liabilities divided by your equity is 50%, how much then is your liabilities and equity? Because we can convert this into equation class, but I'd rather you just analyze this class. So if the sum of your assets and liabilities is 3 million, and if you divide your liabilities with your equity, you will get 50%. How much then is your liabilities and equity? And the answer here would be 1 million, liabilities 2 million, 2 million, equity. Why am I sure nga it's 1 million liability and 2 million equity? Because if you add 1 million, 2 million, you would get how much? 3 million. Okay? And that's the required sum of the two. But why can it not be 1,500,000 liabilities and 1,500,000? Why can it not be 1,500,000 liabilities and 1,500,000 equity? Because if you do that, 1,500,000 liabilities divided by 1,500,000 equity will not give you 50%. So basically, class, the equity should be double your liabilities. Where did we get double, class? 1 divided by 50%. You figure out the algebra, class. But I'm telling you, liabilities is 1 million and equity is 2 million. I hope that made sense to you. Okay, so if you divide 1 million by 2 million, will that actually give you 50%? Yes. So that means we are sure that our liabilities is 1 million and our equity is 2 million. Okay, and with that, we can already use the other information provided in the problem. What does the problem tell us additionally? The share capital on December 31 is 1 million. And then you have share premium in the amount of 500. Okay, so if your total equity is 2 million and you know that your share capital is 1 million and your share premium is 500, that would tell us that our retained earnings must be 500,000. The ending balance of our retained earnings must be 500,000. But why is the answer here not letter C? Because the question is not the ending, but the question asks for the beginning. Okay. So if the ending is 500, okay, and you had a loss of 100, class, what do you do with the loss of 100? In looking for the beginning, you are going to add it back because in arriving at the 500, it was previously deducted. What else is relevant? The dividends declared. What is the effect of dividends? It will decrease. So the 500 then was already decreased by the 700,000 dividends. So to arrive at the beginning balance, what are you going to do with the 700? You add back the 700. So the 500 ending, you add back the 700, you add back the loss of 100. Because we're adding this back because it's a loss. Had this been a profit, then we would have been deducting this to arrive at the beginning balance. So 500 plus 700 plus 100 will give you 1,300,000. Next. Lanao Company show the following increase or decrease in ledger. Question is, what amount should be reported as net income for the current year? There were no transactions affecting retained earnings other than a 1,500,000 cash dividend and a 250 prior period error. Okay. Class, give me the net change to your assets, class. Cash increased by 800, accounts receivable decreased by 400, inventory and equipment increased by 300 and 950. So you have 1 to 50, 2,050,000 minus 400. Is it 1,650? Please confirm, class. Net change to your assets, class. Net change to your assets. 1250 to 2050, 1650, 1650 class. Okay. Next, net change to your liabilities. You have how many here? Two, note payable by 500 and then accounts payable 600. Net change of negative 100. Because basically this is just the same as the previous problem, but it's just that your assets and liabilities are broken down into specific assets and liabilities. So again, assets increased by 1,650,000, liabilities decreased by 100. So what does it tell us about our total equity? Our total equity must have increased by 1,750,000. Does that make sense? If assets increased by 1,650, liabilities decreased by 100, then total equity must have increased by 1,750,000. Okay? But if we break down the increase of 1,750,000, what do we figure out? Since share capital increased by 700 class and share premium increased by 300. So the total change in your share capital and share premium is 1 million. But Pilat, how much was the total increase in equity? 1,750,000. Where then can we attribute the additional or the other 750 class? That would mean that our retained earnings increased by 750. So that the total change in our equity would be 1,750,000. Okay? And then what happened? No transaction of other than 1,500,000. So for there to be a net change of 750, and considering that there's a dividend of 1,500,000 and a prior period error from understatement of ending inventory. And this is where the analysis gets deeper. Prior period error. Let's check if whether or not this has already counterbalanced. The change in our equity should be 750. So since there's a dividend of 1,500,000, that's a negative amount. Okay, so we need 750, and then positive 750, then there's negative 1,500,000. How much then should be our net income? Uh, 50. Okay. So we have to take into account the 250,000. Plus, what was understated last year? It was your ending inventory. What's the effect of if ending inventory is understated? If ending inventory is understated, that means your cost of goods sold is overstated. If cost of goods sold is overstated, that would mean that your net income is understated. And if your net income is understated, that would mean that your retained earnings is also understated. And so to correct this one, you will have to add the 250. So the 250 here will be positive. Okay? So you have 1,500,000 class negative amount because this is dividends. Then you have a prior period adjustment of 250, which is positive because this should be an increase to your retained earnings. What amount do we need so that the net change would be positive 750? We need a positive amount of 2 million plus. Okay, so the net income then here would be 2 million. So negative 1,500,000 plus 250 plus 2 million would give you a net change of 750. Okay, what was crucial here? It's important that you got the 750,000 plus. Then the second crucial thing here is the treatment of the 250,000. So the answer here would be letter A, 2 million. Okay, let's end here.